Welcome to Chiron Art Therapy. I'm Maggie Colwell, an art therapist and Jungian. Here we explore archetypal images, personal symbolism in art and dreams, and what your psyche is trying to tell you. If you're ready to dive into your inner world, you're in the right place. Subscribe, and let's begin.
I'm Maggie Colwell with Chiron Art Therapy in Columbus, Ohio.
And I'm Dr. Robin Norris with Windward Optimal Health in Northern Virginia.
We've been having an ongoing conversation for a couple years, working together on our business and mindset work together. It's that idea of surround yourself with people that raise you up, motivate you, and inspire you. And we realized that it made sense to bring this conversation to other people as well. Would you say that's about it, Robin?
Yeah, absolutely agree. There's been a synergy that we realized has been really helpful for us learning, and we thought maybe some other people might want to learn as well.
In this video, we're breaking down the differences between financial planning and financial therapy. You'll learn how emotions play into financial decisions, when therapy might be a better fit than coaching, and what questions to ask when seeking financial guidance. Let's dive in.
One of the things that Robin specializes in is financial therapy. And there's not many financial therapists out there, are there?
There's less than 100 that are certified, and there's a few more of us that are still finding our way through the field because it's really been an exciting, growing experience. The whole concept of financial therapy grew out of financial planning. And when people realized there was a lot more than just the numbers involved in money, and that money was a lot more of emotions and dreams and hopes. And so, so there's a few of us out here, and hopefully there'll be more soon.
Yeah, and I feel like it's really hard to navigate in the world we're living in. What's the difference between a planner and a coach, and trauma-informed coaching, and what a therapist is, and the different types of therapies? I feel like it's really hard to navigate that. So I feel like us talking today about the difference between what a financial planner does and what's in the realm of therapy that goes beyond coaching would be a really kind of useful thing for people to listen to.
Yeah, no, I agree, because the field itself is so engaging in so many different specialties. And sometimes you can get one person that kind of has a CPA and has a therapy background, but then other times you'll get somebody who's a planner, but has never done any kinds of therapeutic or coaching. And so it's really being able to figure out, well, what questions do I even need to ask? Because what am I trying to look for?
Right. So somebody asking questions, are we talking about somebody who thinks they may want financial therapy?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they could be somebody that's talking to their spouse about their budget, and they keep meeting with their planner or their accountant, and they just feel like they're not agreeing. So there's more emotions in the room than is being sorted out, and they want to go a little bit deeper into their experience. It could be an individual who's trying to figure out some things that presented itself when they were thinking about inheritance money. There's sometimes a lot of emotions that come up with, why do I have this money? Or why don't I have this money? Why did my sibling get something and not me? So that can dip past the realm of a financial planner and more into the realm of a therapist.
If we were looking at what is financial planning, what would you include in that? Are we talking about like budgeting and estate planning? What else would be included?
I would say anything that has financial strategies or technical solutions. So anything that's actually going to look at your numbers data, anything that may involve attorneys, like you said, estate planning. Financial planning can absolutely look at, what would you like to do with money? What would you like the money to do for you? If you're a family that has children, is a college fund something you want to discuss? Is long-term healthcare insurance something you want to discuss? So it involves things that have hopes and dreams, but it kind of stays at that level of the numbers pieces, which is it's different. It's strategic, it's objective, and it's more data and goal driven with the numbers.
Now, you work a lot with couples too, right?
Yes.
So is there pieces there where a financial planner would be helping work through a couple so they agree on their goals? Or is that, where does that go into therapy?
Right. If the couple is getting along and is communicating well, a financial planner can stay and work with that couple to, if they have time, sort things out. Well, what pot of money do we want to save for this vacation? Or what do we want to do about this second home we might purchase? Where it gets a little bit trickier is when the financial planner starts to feel like, ooh, I don't know what to do. There's a lot of discussion in this room. Well, why did we do this with your parents but not mine? So it's those kinds of when the planner feels like they're squirming in their seat a little bit and it's starting to feel like a counseling topic, then that's when it's helpful to have a counselor or therapist in your pocket.
I think the two things that came to mind for me were if things start to really get heated and you're starting to feel like a referee, that you're, in the
Yes.
crossfire of something, or if somebody really digs their heels in and is just like can't even like look in an open-minded way at other alternatives, or
Right.
even and they aren't able to say like, and this is why.
Yes. So it can happen in a couplehood where one person only wants to spend cash, does not ever want to use a credit card or any kind of credit, even for the larger purchases like a car or a home. And a lot of that can come from how you were raised and how you decided you wanted to be as an adult. The flip side to that can also be it's how you were raised and it's something you don't know how to change. Right? So I might have been raised in a household where people used credit cards and that was okay, but also there was a lot of sadness and strife because there was a lot of debt. But I don't know how to save up for something. We just would go out and go get it, right? So it's those kinds of decision points that for sure a financial planner can start to help with, but may also want to refer to a colleague to say, hey, I think they need a little more discussion time.
I think another piece of that would be if somebody feels stuck,
Yeah.
if they are thinking about one aspect of what their situation is and can't seem to get to a place where you're formulating a plan.
Hmm.
That might be one of those two, of
Right.
that kind of like thought process that's kind of circular. Um,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because a CFP, which is a certified financial planner, can meet with people, but the hope from them is that there's movement forward. And if they keep coming back in with the same dilemma and they keep coming back in year after year, not agreeing on something, then yeah, maybe there is this spot for being able to have a little bit more discovery discussion.
okay, well, let's talk about like falling into a pothole where it's like your Achilles heel or something, of like things go along and then bang, this thing hits again. Like, so, when is something like that something that's like, oh yeah, we can definitely work through this? It's like, is it, that it keeps on coming up? Or is it because there's an underlying emotional root cause,
Right.
that maybe the client isn't fully aware of why?
Exactly. And that's the key word there is the why. What is the why behind the behavior? Right? And some behaviors we think are great until we're with another person and then they go, "Why are you doing that?" And you're like, "Well, because it's what I've always done," or it makes me feel safe. And so a lot of our potholes can be around safety, can be, I don't know, it just makes me feel like it should be, right? Like if I'm putting a pen in my hand and it's the hand that I always write with, I don't know why I'm somebody that writes with this particular hand. So,
Something that's right, that's unquestionable, that's such a
mhm.
deep core value that
Yeah,
you feel like kind of shook up even to consider an alternative.
absolutely. Absolutely. And then I think where it tends to be frustrating for people is when they think they knew each other. And I will find that often in couples where they dated for a while, they might have even lived together for a while, then they got married and they still thought they knew each other. And then we had our first child. Now, all of a sudden, we don't know each other anymore, but we certainly know a little bit more about how each person was raised, because it seems like when you're more tired and your resources are more depleted, our true authentic selves come out. And then that's when we start to realize, well, no, it is important that we have this value in our household. Whereas that person might have valued it before and gone out and done this thing, and the partner wasn't bothered by it. But now they are bothered by it because we've introduced it to the next generation. So that can be for sure the qualitative and the quantitative space to spending. Do we spend because it's practical, or do we spend because it's an emotional dream?
Do you think we've covered what we need to about the difference between the two?
I would say so, in the sense that the financial planner aims to create a structured plan to meet the financial goal. And the financial therapist really aims to improve the financial well-being by addressing the emotional and the psychological factors. And so for a planner, or somebody looking for a planner or looking for a therapist, that's really the best consideration is, am I looking for the numbers to answer my questions, or do I have questions that might not be answered by the numbers?
Okay, so that's getting more into kind of qualitative, would you say, at that point, or is that metaphor not quite work?
I think it does, because it really starts to look at, what do we want out of life?
Mm, okay.
And what does money do for us? And then what do we do for money, right? And so I do feel like financial planners and financial therapists can work in synergy quite well to help move people towards their own understanding of what the answers are to that,
Yeah,
but more defined.
I started to see in images as like, who are we about? What is our life about? What are we building together? And how are we living as a living, breathing unit, getting out of the place of mathematics and economics? Of course, I would say that because I'm an art therapist. So we'll have to kind of come back around to that a little bit in one of our next videos, because this one
Sure.
is a multi video series.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in what we have to say about, maybe when a financial planner should refer to a financial therapist, or talking more about some of those more, emotional aspects and the archetype of money in some of our further videos. So check out our financial video series.